Episode 72. Cream warns Tails that they're gonna attack the ship again. This is pretty repetitive. How many times have they fought Metrics in space by now? And it's not them, it's Tails' ship. Cosmo expects us to believe the Metrics attacks get more and more violent every time. The ship then gets grabbed and carried by a yellow sparking Metrix from earlier, and he throws the biplane in space, and the spaceship starts sparking and sloppily lands on a planet with a volcano on it. Predictably, they're stranded on the planet for a while. The yellow robot keeps saying "prepare to" over and over, until he can't think of anything more to say, and the heroes lampshade it. Sonic powers up with a ring, and then jumps towards the robot, but it's such a telegraph spin dash with him looking at him the whole time. So of course he puts a shield up. Amy realizes the robot has a Star Shield power pack, and he brags about having the Eggman logo. Oh, Zelkova, that's his name. That's memorable, right? I thought the Metrics were named after trees. Like, well, Banana Tree wouldn't be a good villain name, no matter how much of a comedy relief character this is. Knuckles and Sonic get sent away by Zelkova, who's all about electricity now. By the way, if Zelkova is supposed to actually be a tree name, then they need to at least tell you what kind of tree it is and show it to you and talk about it, instead of just confusing. Knuckles calls him a wimp for relying on a force field, and accuses him of being a coward. Then we hear Rouge's theme as a spaceship flies around, and Shadow lands on a tree in a forest with a dark sky. Rouge says she's never heard of tree planets. Again, there's no way there could be an entire planet of just trees. What about the poles? Shadow even says that it's cold. Did they finally remember the planet egg thievery concept exists? Shadow says the thing on top of the tree is too bright to be a star. I guess it's just too close up and that's why it's brighter. Knuckles definitely knows how to act like he's in pain, which is good for the tension as he gets stomped on. It's impressive that Zelkova didn't stop using the force field just to prove he's not a coward, because I thought he would do that thanks to Knuckles. Zelkova tries to pin Knuckles to the ground with a giant fist, and Knuckles taunts his punching ability, magically being uninjured. He gets thrown towards the lava. They wouldn't, so naturally he grabs onto the wall near it. I'm glad he didn't need someone to fly towards him and keep him from falling into the lava to bail him out, and instead he climbs up it. Zelkova tries to push the spaceship towards the lava, and Chris's plane gets followed by another Metrix fleet shooting lasers. The planes get struck by lightning, naturally since it's made of metal and so high up in the sky, and the fleet falls because of it. Chris says the lightning had perfect aim, as if it's surprising that metal that conducts electricity would be hit by lightning, and Knuckles gets sent to the ground from electricity. Then he conveniently gets up right away, and starts wasting time punching until eventually he does damage him, but damages his knuckles spiked and is in pain because of it. So what, was he holding back before? Tails avoids some electricity and plans to use Zelkova's energy against him to help the spaceship. Sonic puts a rope from the plane around Zelkova, who conveniently doesn't ever think to just walk forwards a couple steps to not be surrounded by it anymore. That's ridiculous. How could he be such an idiot? Either way, he spin dashes, and suddenly Zelkova gets struck by lightning and blown up. I guess because he was made into a lightning rod. Somehow he was still able to talk while he was crumbling. Then it turns out that under the robot armor is an organic being with green hair. That came out of nowhere. They showed every indication of being just robots, complete with robotic voices, and then sparking with electricity when hurt. And it's bad news for the heroes who feel like rescuing people like him just because they're organic. How did he survive the lightning anyways? He slides down towards the lava, but fortunately Knuckles just watches him slide down. Then Eggman, after discovering the Metrix plan, is told to stop bragging about it in time by Deco, and Eggman's told that Zelkova was destroyed and his Star Shield was no use to him. Eggman says amusingly that it didn't come with a warranty. Then Rouge asks why a fake emerald would be on top of the tree in the middle of nowhere. Ugh, of course it's a fake emerald again. We can't have Rouge get away with any of the emeralds herself. Oh no, only Shadow's allowed that. Then they see Leon, who's injured and held still by a tree. He says the Metrix fooled them and lied that they could be one of them. They destroyed them all. His face starts to look weird as I wonder if they're all being turned into trees completely pointlessly. Seriously, I don't know what they have to gain in this. You can't have a functional economy with all of the people you're ruling over being just trees. You're not going to make money that way. And Rouge uncharacteristically looks sad after Shadow takes something out of his pocket before it's too late. This episode was about a Metrix called Zelkova taking forever humiliating Knuckles with an electricity generating armor with a force field generator, until eventually he's defeated by Sonic making him a lightning rod with some conductive wires. There's no way that he wouldn't have thought to walk out of the circle made around him. Sure, he didn't know the plan, but it was still obvious that the heroes would only do that if it was going to inconvenience him. So he lost his armor because he grabbed the idiot ball. He reveals out of nowhere that he's actually an organic and not a robot, which was weird because all of the Metrics have robotic voices, so they have to be robots for that to make sense. And then it turns out that all of the not overlanders with Leon have been turned into trees for the Metrics. I guess that happens so they can produce oxygen for them, because that's the only benefit to trees. The problem is that the Metrics have always been portrayed as robots, who wouldn't need oxygen. Why can't they just turn non-sentient life into trees if they need oxygen so badly? Why can't they plant normal trees and then invent a super fast tree growing formula, like 2 other continuities had? It doesn't make any sense that they would turn these guys into trees instead of using them as an extra army to actually help them. I hate how they don't think they should explain the Metrix' motives and plans right from the start. Such a basic thing as having the characters' actions make actual sense is really not something that should stay as an unfilled plot hole until a big revelation. That shouldn't be a mystery. If that's a mystery, then that shows how bare bones the overall general plot of the arc is. We should know why they're doing what they're doing right from the start. There's nothing to gain making the villainous team confusing and unbelievable. All that does is make the story arc less enjoyable because it feels more arbitrary. Filling in a basic, obvious plot hole that's in every episode of a season is not something that should be pushed forwards until nearly the end of the season.